Hello, AP Lang Comp. Sorry I can't be with you again today, but my husband is still sick, as is my son, so I'm here at home trying to take care of them. In the meantime, today what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Major Paper slash Project 3. For those of you who are aware of AP Lang Comp, this is the documentary project. So this is the first step toward making your documentary. So if you take a look at the sheet that you should have been handed, an image of concern, I'm going to kind of walk you through it. So there are so many steps to this project, and this is the very first step. This is you thinking about what topic it is that you want to do for the paper and for the project. And this is a very local issue. So if you take a look at this section right here, what concerns you in the McHenry or the McHenry area, we're talking about something really close by, either McHenry itself or the surrounding areas. You can go as far as Chicago if you want to, but really that's kind of where we end up, McHenry area. So we're going to be doing, during this quarter, reading 3 different types of readings. Readings following the themes of power, readings following the themes of resources, and then readings following the themes of change. So what I'm asking you to do is to think about those 3 different themes for your project for Major Paper 3. Power, resources, and change. So if we take a look at power, we want to think about what problems do we see around us that deal with a lack of power or an abuse of power. What resources, like natural resources or human resources, do you see that are being abused or threatened, or that you see being used well? The same thing with power. Instead of lack of power, abuse of power, you could focus in on people who use their power well and for the good. And then the last one is change. So what kind of changes do we see in our area for the good or for the bad? Or what changes do we want to recommend making? So a lot of people end up doing this project on something that they see that they feel like needs to be corrected. But I want you to also remember that this project could be something that you see that you want to celebrate. You want to celebrate the fact that there's good changes that are happening, or that there's somebody who's doing something, or an area that's doing something good for resources or for power in this area. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you want to expose and you want to see as a problem. I've seen a lot of those in the last few years, and frankly, I'm starting to get tired of it. So I challenge you to also find good things that you'd like to highlight and focus on in our area as well. So what I'm asking you to do in your brainstorming area here, I want you to come up with 2 ideas that fit each theme. An idea that fits power and how power is being used or abused, an idea that fits resources and how resources are being abused or threatened or used well, and something that you think that has changed for the good or for the bad, and kind of focus in on that. Power, resources, change. Those are your themes. It'd be helpful for you to do, for you to think about good and bad. So you might think about good change and bad change, good use of resources, bad use of resources, good use of power, bad use of power, that kind of idea. That way you can start thinking not only the negative but also the positive. So you have to do 3 things. First, you have to decide on a topic, and in about a week, you have to take a photograph that represents the topic. Remember, I want you to think about the photograph as being maybe something that would be in the background, perhaps, of your, like if you're doing a poster for your movie, what a background of the poster would be, like the something that represents your topic. You can, I have printed on here, but you can share it digitally with me as long as I can, show it in front of the class. So you don't necessarily have to print it. So make sure that you remember everything, because one, I'm going to be grading you on the use of your quality images and using images to tell a story. So make sure that you follow along with that. Okay. Then you have to write a quality thesis statement that expresses the topic in an argumentative manner. One of the things I found as I was grading your major paper twos was that argumentative, you seem to have a little problem with writing argumentative thesis. So in the next week or so, we're going to be talking about what makes a thesis argumentative to kind of help you with that. All right. So besides the photo and the thesis statement, you have to have a list also. You have to have a list of names of at least 3 people who you'd plan on interviewing for the topic. So the interviews are people who are knowledgeable or in control of whatever it is, people who are most affected by this problem or concern, or people who have differing opinions about this problem or concern. So it could be people from different age categories, people from different political standpoints, people in different roles in society. But you want to think about a variety, people who are for and against your idea. It's very important for you to have a refutation interview. So, for example, if you are concerned about chain stores stealing economic resources of small businesses in McHenry, you could choose to interview the manager of McHenry Walmart, but you have to include his or her name and you have to have insurance that they'll talk to you. You need to have someone on the refutation side of your problem. So if you decide that you want to go up against Walmart and big business, then you need to have someone that represents that business that you can interview. So 3 people is what you're looking for. So basically, an image, a thesis, interview names and descriptions of those people, and then you are going to be pitching your idea to the class in about a week. So what I'm going to have you do right now is once you finish listening to this, I want you to get together with some people in class. I'd prefer it not to be people that you normally work with. So those of you who I've seen you working with in the past, please work with different people. I know you've got those go-to people, but I want you to get different thoughts and ideas. So it'd be better if you just kind of grouped up with people sitting around you and talked a little bit about some of the ideas that you have, and then take a few moments and do some brainstorming about topics. All right, I hope that answers any kind of questions that you have, and we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow. Well, no, not tomorrow because you're going to be doing timed writing tomorrow, so we'll talk a little bit more on Thursday about ideas. Also, make sure that you have read both of those reading assignments that you were given on Monday, Resistance to Civil Government and Letter to Birmingham Jail, and that you have soapstones ready to go for both of those by class on Thursday. All right. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a good night.